Today we're flinging demonic drakes at our opponent's face in Pioneer. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Much Ado About Nothing. And this week, we're heading to Pioneer for a deck I am super excited about. This is Demonic Drake Fling combo, one of the weirdest Pioneer decks I've seen in a while. So let's talk about what this deck's trying to do, jump into a Pioneer League, see it in action. So the idea of our deck is pretty simple. We're built around Demonic Bargain, and at first glance, Demonic Bargain looks like a pretty bad tutor. For 3 mana, you get to tutor anything from your deck, but the drawback is you gotta exile the top 13 cards of your library. The idea of this deck is to turn that drawback of Demonic Bargain into an upside in a really sneaky way. We have 2 big threats that care about the number of instants and sorcery cards that we have in our graveyard or in exile, in Crackling Drake and Serpentine Curve. Both of these get power equal to the number of instant sorceries in our graveyard or in exile. So the idea is we cast Demonic Bargain to intentionally exile a bunch of instants and sorceries to grow our Crackling Drakes, to grow our Serpentine Curves. When things go well, we can potentially like Demonic Bargain for Demonic Bargain and then Demonic Bargain, and that should get enough instants and sorceries into exile that our Crackling Drake or Serpentine Curves are going to turn into one-shot kill threats. However, we don't even need to attack with these cards necessarily to win. We can, but our most spicy win is flinging either of these at our opponent with Kazul's Fury. Kazul's Fury, it's just a fling. We sack a creature, get to deal damage equal to its power to any target. So if we can get our Crackling Drake or Serpentine Curve Fractal up to 20 power, we just Kazul's Fury and win the game on the spot with direct damage. If we can't quite get our Drake or Serpentine Curve to lethal, we can also maybe tutor up a Temur Battle Rage, give it double strike and trample, and hit our opponent that way for lethal. Otherwise, for any of this to work, we need a bunch of instants or sorceries. So we got Considers and Ops to find our pieces, Thoughtseize Collective Brutality for discard, Sheoldred's Edict for removal, Stubborn Denial as a counter spell, and then our last creature is Magmatic Channeler, which just kind of digs through our deck, another way to get things in exile, and quickly turns into a 2-mana 4/4, which is pretty powerful, turns on our Stubborn Denial and whatnot. Mana base, a little bit weird. All Shocklands and Buddylands. It's like a standard mana base from 10 years ago or something. So a little bit weird to see in Pioneer. Actually, initially, this deck didn't have any basic lands, and I thought that was just too greedy, so I added in the island. But it should be able to fix our colors a little bit painfully and clunkily, though. Speaking of a little bit weird, this deck has the strangest sideboard I've ever seen. It is 15 creature removal spells. I guess Dreadbore can also hit Planeswalkers, but Dreadbore, Power Word Kill, Blue Sun's Twilight, and Entrancing Melody. So every single card is killing or stealing creatures. If we run into combo or control, I don't really know what we do about that. But if we run into a creature deck, look out, we can bring in 15 cards from our sideboard. And that is Demonic Drake Fling for Pioneer. That's our Much Brew deck for this week. So let's jump into a Pioneer League and see, can this ridiculous plan of intentionally exiling our own deck to grow Crackling Drake and then throw it at our opponent's face actually work? Let's find out. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap up. Need some Phyrexial will be 1 cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/MTG Goldfish. Much Ado About Nothing time. We are trying to fling some demonic drakes at our opponent in Pioneer, and I mean, we're gonna keep this. We got Drake, we got Fling. Seems reasonable. We need to find a Demonic Bargain, I guess, mostly to get some things in exile to grow the Drake. Tegnuma. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, mana base did not let us Thoughtseize on turn 1. I actually wonder, maybe this mana base is just bad. It's all Shocklands and Buddylands, which is kind of like a standard mana base from many years ago. Well, there's a Demonic Bargain. We will keep it. Passes. Yeah, we would have liked that Thoughtseize. Stubborn Denial. Well, Steam Vents tapped. Pass the turn. The question's going to be, can the Drake live? I guess we got to get to enough mana that we can leave up Stubborn Denial, probably. Collective Brutality. Well, we will Stubborn Denial that. So our opponent's all about the discard, apparently. Pass in. Play the land and Demonic Bargain. How do we protect the Drake? We can't do anything next turn. Maybe we just take another Demonic Bargain to make sure the Drake is lethal. You know what? Let's do that. I think we take another Demonic Bargain. Next turn, we can Demonic Bargain Thoughtseize, hopefully, to try to make sure there's not a removal spell. Oh, come on now. Okay, opponent. Discard spell number 3 takes the Demonic Bargain, missing their land drops. Well, we draw another Demonic Bargain, which is kind of fortunate. Demonic Bargain. Hopefully for Thoughtseize. Not for Thoughtseize. Well, the Drake's lethal. How do we resolve it, though? Maybe we take Serpentine Curve? Our deck is mostly lands at this point. We have exiled all of our spells. Opponent's missing land drops. We got no Thoughtseizes left. We got no counters left. We're likely going to draw lands. Yeah, take Serpentine Curve. Play the land. All right, I mean, we can make big stuff. The question is, can it survive? Can it survive? And how much more discard can our opponent have? Razor Verge Thicket, sure. Raffine's Informant, I see. So opponent's playing Greasefang. There goes a Can't Stay Away. I think we run out the Drake. Run out the Drake, draw a card. Play Blood Crypt tapped. So our opponent has to kill this before we untap, or else they lose to Fling. They currently don't have a way to trigger Revolt for Fatal Push. The bad news is our opponent's seen our hand, so they know they gotta answer this. I mean, I guess they know because it swings and kills them as well. If this does die, then our game plan is to try to get to 7 mana so we can Serpentine Curve combo opponent. Witherbloom Command, Drain and Mill. Wait a minute. Doesn't this mean you die? Opponent goes to 18. Wait, did we get there? Did we just beat the best deck in the format with with Fling and Drakes? Opponent comes it up. Triple Thoughtseize. Ain't no problem. Power Word Kill in. Thoughtseize is fine. Stubborn Denial. Collective Brutality doesn't seem great. We want so our way to answer Raffine is instant speed removal, I guess, is our main plan. Maybe we go 2 Stubborn Denials. That also means Dreadbore is kind of sketchy, because Dreadbore is not instant speed. Yeah, let's go down 1 opt. Let's try it like that. So play a set of instant speed removal spells. So basically, we try to do that, except also have answers for Raffine because our sideboard is full of Blue Sun's Twilights. You infamous small Japanese players, you. All right, I mean, we'll keep this. Thoughtseize, consider. We got the curve, we got the bargain. Opponent's doing some serious mulliganing here. Greasefang is considered to be the best deck, or this one of the best decks in the format. It just won first and second in the challenges recently. So it is considered to be one of the best decks. All right, opponent goes to 5, Pathway, but our opponent only has 3 cards left in hand. They take our Thoughtseize, which is usually a win. Sulfur Falls. Well, Steam Vents. Want to leave up Consider here just in case. See what we're digging for. I mean, our opponent's deck does not need many cards to win. Raffine plus Parhelion in the graveyard. That's enough. Kind of surprised our opponent would keep the Thoughtseize though with the big mulligan. Going to pass. Well, we will consider. Mill the land. Draw more Considers. Watery Grave. I mean, we could just be dead here, but I guess we don't have a way of stopping it if we are. So Drown Catacombs, go. Leave up the bluff mana. Well, if they can just mill into a Parhelion and play Greasefang, they jank it out. Grizzly Salvage. So they found the Greasefang, but currently no Parhelion. Thankfully. So at least, they mill the Greasefang. All right, opponent takes the land. Probably good. I mean, in 2 turns, we can Demonic Bargain for something. Do you have a way to get stuff in your graveyard? Vessel of Nascency, so that will get stuff in the graveyard in the future. Well, we will consider. I think we actually have to mill Crackles here. Into a land. That's not ideal. Okay, there's Power Word Kill. That's a big one. Blood Crypt tapped. Pass the turn. Power Word Kill means we should not die this turn. Opponent, Vessel of Nascency, finds the Parhelion. Well, let's see if they can Greasefang. Greasefang. Well, Power Word Kill. This is the scary turn, though. Traverse to get another Greasefang. We draw a land. Demonic Bargain into a Thoughtseize, I guess, is our most realistic plan. So let's play Sulfur. We have drawn a lot of lands this game. Let's play Sulfur Falls. Demonic Bargain. We gotta take Thoughtseize. Take a Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize the Greasefang. Hope that we're safe for the time being. How big is this serpentine curve? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my god, they keep drawing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Not currently lethal. Well, all right. Crackling Drake, draw a card. Blood Crypt, tapped. Well, this is huge. Pass the turn. Can our opponent find another Grease Fang? No. They can take Technuma to get back Grease Fang in 2 turns, which means we just need a spell. We just need 1 spell to grow Crackling Drake. Any spell, please just not a land. We can Serpentine Curve, so that's 1 more spell, and then the Drake is lethal. Come on, deck, any spell. Please not land number 9, please. Oh, I guess we needed to be a little more specific. Technically, that is any spell, but that's not any spell that wins us the game. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Well, I mean, I guess we Serpentine Curve. Go to combat, hit you with Crackles. We needed a cheaper spell. Play the tap land. Opponent did not do their thing. Oh, an opponent scoops it up. Our opponent forgot to channel. I honestly think we still might have won. So if our opponent does, wow, we're gonna draw another land. So if our opponent did do what they were trying to do, they channel to get back Grease Fang. Grease Fang gets back Parhelion. Parhelion attacks, hits us for 13, makes the Angels. But then our opponent has to double chump block and they're back down to, honestly, if our opponent channeled there, we probably would have lost, but well, okay, we'll take it. Fractal power. Sweet, sweet. Much brew about nothing time. We are trying to fling some demonic drakes at opponents in Pioneer, and I mean, we're gonna keep this. Unfortunately, we have a lot of tap lands. Opponent, Spara's headquarters. Sulfur Falls, go. Opponent, well, tap land. We draw a Demonic Bargain. Well, play Kazul's Fury past the turn. There goes one of our flings. The amount of colors our opponent has access to is scary. Fable of the Mia Breaker. Well, we're gonna stubborn denial that real quick. Passes. We draw an island. Well, I guess we just make Matic Channeler and Dragon Skull Summit go. Control seems like it might be tricky. This might be Enigmatic Incarnation. That would also make sense. Omnath. Pretty busted Magic the Gathering card draws a card. Well, we do have a lot of removal. Hopefully we hit some. Blood Crypt. Magmatic Channeler. Discard Collective Brutality. See if we can hit a removal spell. A removal spell that can actually kill Omnath. No. Well, okay, we take Crackling Drake. Play the island, run out Crackling Drake. I mean, this is fine. It's not great, but it's something. We draw another land, I'll pass the turn. Our opponent is untapping with Omnath, which is definitely not good. Oh no, and they actually have the only fetch land in the format. Oh dear, very unfortunate. Oh god almighty. Hostage takers are Crackling Drake. GG. Opponent, Crackling Drake to draw a card. Oh, Jesus. Well, yeah, that probably does it. Demonic Bargain. That fetch land was absurdly brutal. What do we exile all the removal spells? Yeah, none of these actually deal with anything. There's no flings left. We actually might just be straight up dead. We can make our opponent sacrifice, but that doesn't do anything. Collective Brutality doesn't do anything. We're super far behind on board. Maybe it's just Thoughtseize? I mean, that feels horrible, but all right. Thoughtseize you, I guess? That was not exactly what we were dreaming of. Oh, opponent's hand is remaining very busted. Well, I guess we take the Leyline Binding. Yeah, that's not looking good. Not looking good for the Drakes. Yeah, the Omnath high roll, pretty strong. Omnath is like sort of supposed to be a fair card in Pioneer, but if you have the fetch land, it is still ridiculous. You just have less likelihood of actually having it, but when you do have it, it is just kind of a oops, I accidentally win the game. Yeah, not having any flings is a problem. Like, that would be the out we were playing towards, but that out is off the table. Opponent, Fable the Mirror Breaker, Temple Garden, tapped, 26. We draw an opt. Well, 1, 2, Serpentine Curve. Make an 11/11, pass the turn, but Fable gets to go digging for removal, so I expect we're just dead. We're gonna do some looting to try to find the win here. Demonic Bargain it is risky, isn't it? It is risky that we could just exile the combo pieces that we need, which is kind of funny. Maybe 2 Kazul's Furies is not enough. Maybe we gotta play more Kazul's Furies just because of how Demonic Bargain works. Thinking very hard, discards Omnath in a land. Do you hit a removal spell? Hellish Norn. I mean, that's bad. All right, all the Fable Passage is chilling at the top of the deck. Goes attacking. Makes a treasure. We will block the Omnath. Opponent gets to crack the fetch. And we die. All right, yep. Well, yeah, that Omnath did some serious work. I guess the sideboard's mostly coming in. Yeah, Dreadbore's power word kills go down. Collective brutalities. A stubborn denial. A couple of ops. A Sheoldred's edict. A serpentine curve. And I guess one Thoughtseize. Let's try it like that. Yeah, that Omnath just went off. Good God. We get to play first. I mean, we'll try this. We have Thoughtseize into removal, into Demonic Bargain. I mean, we got a chance here. This hand seems fine. Thoughtseize you. Opponent, Rending Volley. Omnath, Sylvan Caryatid Velki. Opponent only has 2 lands. I wonder if there's any argument. Like, we don't really care about the Velki. I think we just take Omnath. I think that's fine. Take Omnath, pass the turn. Hopefully we can kill the Velki and then edict the Caryatid is the idea. Dreadbore. Well, Sulfur Falls, go. Caryatid. All right, well, we will definitely make our opponent sack it. Get rid of the Caryatid. Well, Steam Vents. Well, I guess it's Demonic Bargain time. Demonic Bargain. Exile some cards. Probably Serpentine Curve, I think. Pass the turn. Serpentine Curve doesn't get got by Velki. It also doesn't die to Rending Volley. Runs out the Velki. How many spells do we have exiled? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So right now the Serpentine Curve would be a 9/9. Opponent, Jetmir's Garden. Let's consider, we would like to find a land. Yeah, we're gonna mill the Drake. Play a Magmatic Channeler. Watery Grave tapped. Pass the turn. It would be nice if our opponent stopped hitting lands. We would accept that. We still have all of our Kazul's Furies. Ooh, Sylvan Caryatid. Yeah, that's a good one. Ooh, and a land. All right, opponent's hitting them all. Going to pass. Yeah, let's Serpentine Curve. Make an 11/11, hit you with Magmatic Channeler. The pressure's on. The pressure's on. Opponent down to 16. So we know they can play Hellish Norn, although we have the answer for Hellish Norn. Yeah, there's Mom. Wow. Okay, so opponent top deck chained to the rocks. Well, we know our opponent's last card. Unfortunately, that last card means we can't play our Crackling Drake until we find a way to stop it. Opponent goes attacking. Yeah, that Chain to the Rocks was an unfortunately good draw for our opponent. Let's consider, do we even want the land? I mean, the other possibility is we get to the point where we can just combo kill right away. Yeah, I think we go Graveyard. We draw land anyway. Well, black-red, kill Mom. Blood Crypt tapped. So we know our opponent's last card is that Rending Volley that we saw on turn 1, which does mean we can't Crackling Drake without it dying. We have 1 Drake and 1 Serpentine Curve left in our deck. Opponent gets in, hits us. Down to 10. Gets Jingatha. Passes. Opt. Keep the Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize our opponent. Rending Volley. Do we Dreadbore the Velki? So we drop to 6. I think we can wait. We'd rather get rid of the Jagatha. All right, pass the turn. This is going to be close. We have a lethal Drake. We need 1 Drake attack. So we need our opponent not to draw interaction for like a turn. Opponent goes attacking. Or an Omnath. If they top deck Omnath, I'm going to be so sad. Because they do have that fetch land in hand. Opponent. All right, plays the fetch land. I assume runs out Jingatha. So we can take the Jingatha hit, block Velki, go to 1. Opponent plays Jingatha. Play the island. This is it. Run out the Crackling Drake. Wow. Okay, opponent top decked Ether Gust. So our opponent's top decks are coming through. Opponent untaps. Oh, sweet Jesus. Oh, no. Wow, did our opponent high roll? Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, that does it. Our opponent with the high roll for the win. I mean, that's magic. We played, I think, as well as we could play. We found the Thoughtseize. We got rid of the answer. We left our opponent with nothing. And our opponent, runner, like, what can you do? Much brew but nothing time. We are doing some more demonic Drake flinging, and this hand actually looks pretty sweet. We got the fling, we got the demonic bargain. All we need is the Drake and a little mana, but we can deal with this. We also have a removal spell, which is good. Watery Grave. Oh, control. Okay. Hall of the Storm Giants. Well, let's consider. Control is probably our worst matchup. We will keep Magmatic Channeler though, just because if you look at our sideboard, it is all removal spells. Magmatic Channeler, go. So we're gonna need to find Thoughtseize to clear the way and then try to combo all in one turn, I think. That's the goal. Untap. Ooh, Stubborn Denial is good. Watery Grave, untapped. Demonic Bargain. Whoa! Opponent's playing Spell Pierce. Okay. That was not exactly expected. Well, we might as well hit you for one. Okay. Plays a tap land and passes. So we want all the Stubborn Denials in the world. Magmatic Channeler, discard Blood Crypt, hopefully find something. Demonic Bargain, play the land, play how many Spell Pierces can they possibly be playing? Demonic Bargain. Well, apparently the answer is all of them. Opponent, Spell Pierce number 2. Well, that's not great. We really wanted to resolve a Demonic Bargain. Well, I guess those are 2 Spell Pierces down. That's something. We really don't want to play this Kazul's Fury. We want to hold on to it for the combo kill. Opponent, Plains, passes. Duress Mode. Take the Wrath and beat you down with a Magmatic Channeler. Hit ya. Well, now I'm tempted to play the Kazul's Fury because it's going to get vetoed. Yeah, you know what? We'll just hold it for now. Pass the turn. If our opponent doesn't draw anything for a few turns, cycles of farmland. If our opponent doesn't draw anything for a minute, the Magmatic Channeler, it is a 4/4. Opponent, Hallowed Fountain, tapped. Passes. Hit you with the Channeler. Play the tap land, pass the turn. Opponent's down to 11. Cycles of farmland. Well, opponent's doing some digging. There is some world where we get our opponent low enough that we can just fling the Channeler at him. Puts it to the bottom, that's good. I mean, we do have some good Planeswalker answers. Cycle Sensor, Ops. To the top, plays a land and passes. Go to combat, hit you with the Magmatic Channeler. Opponent takes it. Well, it might be time for war, or do we just wait one more turn? So if we Thoughtseize, our opponent absorbs. Counter the absorb with Stubborn Denial, and then Thoughtseize the veto. The other option is just to wait and try to do this next turn, but our opponent could draw removal. I think we do it. Let's Thoughtseize our opponent. If they veto, that's fine. Then we got the veto out of their hand. If they absorb, then I think we have to counter it back. Okay, there's the absorb. So we will Stubborn Denial the absorb. Thoughtseize you. I mean, I guess we take the Shark Typhoon and pass the turn. And I think this means we should be able to win. I'm guessing our opponent's going to try to Hall of the Storm Giant block. I mean, unless our opponent top decks. But if they're on the Hall of the Storm Giant plan, we should have it. Opponent top decks Farewell. We top deck a Blood Crypt. Oh no. Boy, there's been so many close calls with this deck. Opponent, Hall of the Storm Giants. We will Shieldred's Edict. Draw action, Crackles. Ooh, boy, if we draw land here, if we draw land off Crackles, land untapped, opponent's at 7, play the land, and Demonic Drake Fling. Kazul's Fury, target you, sack the Drake. GG control. Wow, we couldn't even resolve the demonic bargains, but we got there. Well, maybe we don't have anything for control because our main deck is already set up for control. At least that's what we're gonna tell ourselves, because Blue Sun Twilight does nothing and Transing Melody does nothing, Powered Word Kill does nothing. I could see an argument for Dreadbore, I guess, to kill a Planeswalker, but yeah, we don't really have anything to bring in against this deck. That was a sweet kill, though. That was a sweet Crackle's Fling kill. If we could have resolved a Demonic Bargain, it would have been even easier, but I mean, we already have the Edicts. What would we even cut for Dreadbore? You know what? Let's run it back. I don't think our sideboard has anything for this matchup, which is probably not a good thing. That's probably actually bad. The sideboard does not have a lot of diversity. Whoever built this sideboard, they put a lot of creature removal in there. Well, all right, we'll keep this. I mean, it'd be nice to get the Magmatic Channeler down, but Stubborn Denial. Island. Opponent. Gonna do a little passing. Well, we will opt. Crackle's got to go bottom for now. We need to hit our land drops. Watery Grave, untapped. And I think we just pass. Pass and leave up double consider. And I guess Stubborn Denial, but opponent cycles a Censor. And a tap land. Opt. Keep consider. Consider. Mill Magmatic Channeler. Untap. Consider. Crackles to the graveyard. Ooh, play Kazul's Fury. Do we want to Thoughtseize here? I think we wait. Let's pass the turn. Yeah, having to play the Kazul's Fury is painful. That's a card that we would have rather had in hand, but we were just desperate for lands. We were having a hard time hitting our land drops. Narset. Okay, well, we can Edict that. Hopefully we draw land. Another black source would make our life a lot easier here. If we draw another black source, opponent draws Ether Gust. If we draw another black source, we can kind of do everything. Thoughtseize. Yeah, missing lands here is real bad. Real bad. Sheoldred's Edict. Get rid of the Narset, pass the turn. Where are all our lands? Well, now I guess we're hoping our opponent just goes land and slams Teferi and we can Stubborn Denial it. That would be the best. Castle Vantress, opponent's gonna get their Scryon. Land. Can we even play it? Thoughtseize you. Cycles a Shark Typhoon. Okay. I guess we take the veto. Yeah, sadly, I think we have to play Kazul's Fury. Well, all right. Magmatic Channeler. It's gonna die. Yeah. Unfortunate, but we gotta play our Fling as a land. We just can't keep missing land drops here. About it. Glacial Fortress. Lay down arms to kill the Channeler. And opponent goes attacking. Hits us. Come on, black mana. Black mana. Consider. We will start by Thoughtseizing you. Take the Make Disappear. Actually, do we? We could take the Censor to keep our opponent from cycling it, but they get to start scrying. Take Fateful Absence. Consider. Opt to the graveyard. Boy, this has been some awkward running. Now our opponent gets to start scrying, which is super bad for us. Yeah, I think we're in trouble this game. We just have not been able to hit our lands. Opponent. Castle Vantress. Having to play both Kazul's Fury is real bad. Well, at least our opponent put both to the bottom. Unfortunately, they're going to start attacking with this Hall of the Storm Giants at some point. Opponent gets in, hits us, and we just can't resolve anything because we're missing our lands. Teamer Battle. Oh boy, it keeps getting worse. Collective Brutality, Duress you. It's a lot of cards to go through. Oh boy, that's just a handful of every counter ever. Make Disappear, I guess. Pass the turn. Yeah, this was some clunky running. Opponent gets to scry. If you think about it, this is kind of a combo deck, and the combo really requires 7 mana to do it all at once, and we are nowhere near that. Opponent scries 2 to the bottom, gets in, hits us, down to 8. We are dead to Hall the Storm Giant, Magmatic Channeler. I mean, well, cast it, I guess. I mean, I guess it's notable that we're 23 cards into our deck and we have 4 lands, and many of those were us like casting ops and censors and so forth. Yeah, we cast a bunch of ops and censors and ways to find lands and we just could not find them. Well, good news is we are in the play for game number 3. We're unlikely to have that clunky of a draw again. Like that was pretty epically clunky. We got to see a lot of our opponent's deck. They are playing as many counters as possible. They are playing as many counters as you can possibly fit in a deck. So we're gonna need to be aware of that. Try to play around them as much as we can. I mean, the upside of the deck is is definitely that we can just win out of nowhere. You know what? Maybe let's go to one Teamer Battle Rage. Teamer Battle Rage is nice for the one-shot kill, but it still requires the creature to sit on the battlefield for a turn. I think we'd rather have another Narset answer, probably. I wonder if we can play more Kazul's Furies. I could see going up to 3, because along with what we saw that game, where we had to just play both of them because we were missing our other land drops, it's also possible that we, like, Demonic Bargain is random. We can't control what's in the top 13 cards. So it's also possible that we just take and exile them. So I kind of think I want to add at least one more Kazul's Fury, because I think the combo is where the deck's at its most powerful. Like, when you're winning all in one turn with the Fling, I think that's the deck at its best. I mean, we're going to keep this, although double Buddy Land is not great. We would have liked to Thoughtseize on 1. It means our Thoughtseize could potentially get countered. Well, opponent's going to 6. Let's see. We would still like to draw. Well, our Thoughtseize is going to resolve. Untap land. More tap lands. Well, Thoughtseize you. Well, we're going to take Censor. Play a Sulfur Falls. Opponent kept a 1-lander. Now we're hoping our opponent just doesn't top deck lands. Opponent top decks the land. Watery Grave. Magmatic Channeler. Pass the... Do they just top deck another land? Oh, that would be brutal. That would be brutal. Opponent opts to dig for a land and does not find it. Okay, that's good news at least. But we will consider. Keep Demonic Bargain. Play the land. Demonic Bargain. The question is, what do we take? Like, what is our game plan? Are we trying to disrupt our opponent? Are we trying to combo off? We know there's a Supreme Verdict if our opponent finds the mana. I mean, we know most of our opponent's hand. We don't currently have a Fling, although we do have Teamer Battle Rage. Boy, this is actually a super tough decision. Let's take Stubborn Denial. I guess get in for 1. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Going to pass. Opt. If our opponent wants to absorb, that's fine. We will keep Crackling Drake. We draw Consider. Well, Watery Grave, untapped. Go to combat. Hit you for 4. I don't think we want to run out Crackling Drake yet. Let's Consider. Mill the land. I think we just pass. And, ooh, passing. Okay, opponent's going to pass. Another Stubborn Denial. That's kind of exciting. Down to 11. Thoughtseize you. I assume, wow, they're not going to try to counter it. 3 absorbs, 2 Narsets, and a day undoing. We're going to take the Supreme Verdict and pass the turn. I mean, our opponent's actually at risk of just dying to Magmatic Channeler. Stubborn Denial? Dragon Skull Summit. I mean, we're gonna go for it. We're gonna go for it. This might be too greedy, but Crackling Drake. Draw a card. Hit ya. We still have the Stubborn Denial. Opponent goes to 7. Opponent needs, like, I don't even know what they need. I think they're dead. Days Undoing. Well, Stubborn Denial? And GG? Oh, wow. We took down the control deck. We took down the Narset wheel deck. Okay. Oh, that was actually super sweet. I mean, we definitely benefited from our opponent mulliganing and keeping a risky hand in game 3, but we beat him full power in game 1. So Demonic Drake Fling. No Flings this game, but a pretty sweet win. Sweet. Much brew about nothing time. We are doing some more Demonic Drake Flinging in Pioneer this week, and see how it goes. This deck is interesting. I'm glad to see Demonic Bargain getting taken advantage of. When you read it, it looks like a bad tutor because you got to exile the cards, but as we're seeing with this deck, if you do some brewing, there's a way to turn the drawback into an upside, which is how some of the best Magic decks come to be. Like, figuring out a way how to make what is supposed to be the drawback of a card into its actual superpower. See what our opponent's doing. They get to play first if they so choose. Well, yeah, we are going to mulligan this one pretty fast. This hand is awesome, except it has no... I mean, it's got a Kazul's Fury, but it has no lands, essentially. We really don't want to play Kazul's Fury as a land anyway. All right, well, this will keep. This is not bad. We'll put Teamer Battle Rage to the bottom, and, well, let's see what our opponent's up to. We haven't played Mono Green yet. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself. It has been nice to not have to play Mono Green. Fire Bluff Canal. Probably some sort of like Phoenix deck, I guess. Which might be awkward since we don't believe in graveyard hate. This has to be one of the weirdest sideboards we've ever played with. I think once we talk about the wrap up, I think my biggest advice will be, yeah, you should probably change that sideboard a bit. There is more archetypes in Pioneer than just creature decks. And cards that are good against non-creature decks could be good for the sideboard. Although we did beat control even with this sideboard. Well, let's consider. And we'll mill the land. Draw exactly the same land. Well, there's a Crackles. There is a Crackles. Do we run out Magmatic Channeler? Probably. Yeah, let's play the land. Run out Magmatic Channeler. What's the worst that can happen? I mean, I guess it could be, I don't know exactly. Our opponent could be like a control deck, I guess. When you see Izzet, you normally think like Spellslinger, Phoenix. I guess it could be more controlling. 3 toughness is pretty good in Pioneer, actually. A lot of the removal spells deal 2 damage. Play the land, pass the turn. Hope our channeler survives. Okay, Fire Prophecy. Oh, all right, so this is probably Indomitable Creativity. So it is basically control then. Another Stubborn Denial, eh? Do we Demonic Bargain? That's the real question. It would potentially let our opponent resolve like a big score or something, which would be bad. Yeah, you know what? Let's just play a tap land. I think next turn might be the Demonic Bargain turn. Next turn we can Demonic Bargain and maybe like find a Thoughtseize or something. A single not ferocious Stubborn Denial is not that great, but there are very important 3-mana spells or 4-mana spells in our opponent's deck. So there's a chance it still does something. At some point we might be able to opponent impulses, find a land, plays a land. Going to pass. Getting down Crackles would be sweet at some point. Well, Dragon Skull Summit, and let's do some demonic bargaining. Opponent has a Spell Pierce. Well, we can't pay for that. Unfortunate that we haven't drawn another blue source. When did Spell Pierce become the ultra staple of Pioneer? We've played against so many Spell Pierces today. Finds even more lands. Well, that's unfortunate. A Blood Crypt, which is also unfortunate. Oh, Blood Crypt tapped. Yeah, this is looking pretty bad. Somehow we've drawn all Rakdos lands. Yeah, I feel like this is where we die. Like if our opponent just big scores creativities, then we're done. All right, no big score. Oh, I wish we could turn on this Stubborn Denial. Stubborn Denial would be so much better if we could actually turn it on. As a Force Spike, it is not great. Steam Vents tapped. Well, okay, Thoughtseize you. At least that's a card we can cast. Well, I mean, we're gonna take the Make Disappear. I don't even know if we play Kazul's Fury. Yeah, we're not going to. Another red source doesn't really do anything. We need blue mana. Opponent untaps. Opponent passes. Well, there's a Sulfur Falls. We can run out Crackling Drake, although it will die. If we get 1 more mana, we can fling it. Yeah, I think we just wait for now. We know our opponent's hand. It's just triple removal. So I think we just pass and hope to hit some Ops or Thoughtseizes or something. So Impulse, that's not great. 4 cards deep to find some goodies. We draw even more Rakdos mana. We have drawn almost every non-blue land in our deck, I think. I'm pretty sure this is like every non-blue land that we have access to. There are, let's look at this mana base. 3 Dragon Skull Summits, we found 2. 4 Blood Crypts, we found 3. So yeah, almost every land that does not help our game plan. Fires up the Mutavault, goes to combat, hits us for 2, down to 14. Opponent passes. Well, there's some blue manas. Is it worth crackling? It draws us a card, although our opponent definitely can kill it. Oh, it's not even turned on yet either. Wow, this has been weird. Well, Steam Vents, tapped past the turn. Yeah, I think we keep waiting. It just doesn't do enough yet. Yeah, somehow we don't even have enough spells in our graveyard to turn on the Crackling Drake. What a weird draw. This deck does get some really odd draws. Oh, opponent's gonna pass. Oh, that's frightening. Another Steam Vents. Now play the land. I mean, I guess we're gonna run this out. It's not the best, but Crackling Drake. Another Kazul's Fury, eh? Pass the turn with the saddest of Drakes. Fire Prophecy, yeah. I mean, we can't actually really stop this because we know our opponent's hand anyway. We know it is full of these removal spells. All right, kills a Crackling Drake. How have we went 19 cards and have 3 spells in our graveyard? Collective Brutality. Well, we will dress you. Well, we'll take the creativity. So opponent's hand is still nothingness, but our hand is also kind of still nothingness. 2 more fiery impulses and a couple of lands. We could really use a demonic bargain. Yeah, that's not great. That's going to make our opponent's hand very good. So we are running out of time for our deck to do things. We are running out of time. Opponent fires up the Mutavault. Yeah, this would be the turn. This would be the turn to draw something if we're ever going to. Opponent gets in with the Mutavault, hits us down to 10. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Now I think we're probably gonna die. This is one of the most awkward draws I think this deck has had yet. I mean, I guess we've drawn 13 lands, which is a lot. Opponent fires a Mutavault, gonna go attacking. Holding onto the fiery impulses, but also has a bunch of other cards. I mean, we're just dying. We're just dying fairly here. I mean, we're dying to the combo too if they draw it, but we're also just dying to the Mutavault beats down to 6. Yeah, our deck has mostly just decided not to draw any good cards, or any cards at all. Demonic Bargain. Well, if this resolves, it would be sweet. Demonic Bargain. Oh, we exiled all of our Demonic Bargains too. I think it's Crackling Drake. Actually, could it be Magmatic Channeler? That is cheaper. It still turns on the... You know what? We got to take Crackles. Take Crackling Drake. Crackling Drake. Let's think about this. We are at 6. This can block one thing. So if we Thoughtseize, we go to 4. How does this not work? If our opponent has... Yeah, I think we Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize you. Opponent's going to cast a Fiery Impulse. Opponent, Fiery Impulse. Well, we will Stubborn Denial. We need the Drake to live. Oh, there's a flaw in our plan. Yeah, we're dead. Okay. Atwara. Oh, y'all are going to be yelling at me because technically we knew about that. Oh, I was just paying attention to the non-lands. I mean, I guess we were just not going to beat that either way when it comes down to it. When it comes down to it, we were just not going to win through the Atwara. Another matchup where we really just don't get any cards. There's no way we're going to Blue Suns like a World Spineworm or whatever. Yeah, that Atwara was actually pretty brutal. The idea of this deck is cool, and we've definitely gotten some sweet wins with it. I will say I think the mana base is wrong and the sideboard is wrong. Normally I don't say wrong. I usually say like needs improvement or like could have some changes. In this case though, I think wrong is the right word. I've never seen a sideboard. I mean, I've seen a mana base like this in standard from like 10 years ago, and it was okay in standard, but yes, it's not very diverse. And then the sideboard kind of has the same issue. I mean, I guess we'll keep this. We're not very close to doing much, but we do have an opt and we have a removal spell. Temur Battle Rage is kind of a mulligan. Lots of control decks today. I mean, I think this deck is essentially a control deck. Control deck, but its finisher is the Indomitable Creativity combo, but it really plays like a control deck. Watery Grave, untapped. The other thing that's going to be a problem here is I imagine our opponent got to bring in a bunch of stuff that's good against us, and we got to bring in nothing. We will opt. Kazul's Fury, gotta go bottom for now. We find a Demonic Bargain, which is not horrible. Watery Grave tapped. The question, of course, was gonna be, can we actually get it to resolve? Gonna pass. Well, we will consider. Blood Crypt, I think to the graveyard. We draw a Thoughtseize. It's a lot of Shieldred's Edicts that aren't really doing much. Thoughtseize you. Creativity, Impulse, Fire Prophecy. You know what? I think we take the Make Disappear. If we take the Make Disappear, we can, and this might be super greedy, but we can Stubborn Denial the Impulse. And it is super greedy, but we're going to do it. Stubborn Denial the Impulse. And this should free us up to untap and Demonic Bargain and then see what happens. Hopefully our opponent doesn't draw anything too good. Land, Stormcarved Ghost. I mean, I guess our opponent could always draw another counter. But 1, 2, and 3, Demonic Bargain. There's some argument for taking a land, even though that feels pretty bad. I really don't want to take a land. That feels way too bad. I mean, obviously, Crackling Drake is our best way of winning. I think we just take Channeler, though. Take Channeler, pass the turn. Hope we draw land for next turn and can Collective Brutality Channeler. That would be good. Wow, we exiled a lot of Channelers. Opponent Steam Vents tapped. How about a land deck? A land off the top. Consider. Well, we will consider looking for a land. Keep it. Drowned Catacombs, Collective Brutality, Duress You. 2 creativities and a fire prophecy. I mean, I guess we take the fire prophecy and hope our opponent doesn't draw away 2 creativity. With them having 2 in hand, it's not like we can really stop it anyway. Impulse, that's probably not good for us. Something like Fable of the Mirror Breaker would be kind of bad. Depending on what our opponent's trying to creativity off of, maybe we can Shieldred's Edict to fizzle it. Opponent, Shivan Reef. And it is Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Well, we will untap, draw Steam Vents. Well, first off, we need to Shieldred's Edict, make you sack a creature token, Magmatic Channeler, Steam Vents tapped, pass the turn, does not discard. Oh, the best draw. Okay, we are going to have to find a Stubborn Denial real quick because our opponent can combo off next turn. Ooh, Thought Seize. Okay, or we could find a Thought Seize real quick. That's also good. Thought Seize you. That is huge because we can take the creativity and they discarded 1. So hopefully this is both creativities. Okay, we have hope again. Okay, take the creativity, leave our opponent with essentially nothing. We're at 14. Opponent can channel. I mean, I think we need to progress this game. Let's discard Temur Battle Rage, take a Demonic Bargain, play a Demonic Bargain. Now we're definitely looking for Crackles. Crackles or Curve? Probably Crackles. How big is Crackles? 20 power? Well, we'll take a Crackles. All right, pass the turn. Your go, opponent. Please don't top deck anything great. I mean, 2 Indomitable Creativities are down. If our opponent top decks 1, then we just are out of luck. Like, that's just unfortunate, but making some tokens gets and hits us down to 12. Demonic Bargain, probably not casting that. Crackling Drake, draw a card. Wow, that was a good draw. Drawing the Stubborn Denial here is ridiculously big. That actually means we can probably protect the Drake. We would like to just draw the Fling to get the oh, opponent scoops it up. Opponent scoops it up. Okay. That went from us being very close to dead to winning out of nowhere. Oh, this matchup's so scary. Creativity is so scary. I guess this is our best setup though. Like, I guess we keep it the same. We could try to steal the Fable token. Run it back. Let's do that one more time. One more time. Let's get the win. I mean, the deck is oddly somehow sort of working. Oh, the double tap land draw. Well, I mean, we're gonna keep this. We would love to draw a shock land to let our mana come into play untapped, but the hand's good enough that I think we keep it. Opponent, tap land. All right, Drowned Catacombs go. We're gonna do it the slow way, but I do like that we have multiple discard spells. Those are pretty good against our opponent's deck. Passes. Thought Seize you. That is a kind of ridiculous hand. I guess we hope our opponent doesn't draw lands. Take the Fable. Play the Sulphur Falls. No land this turn. We really need our opponent not to draw a land this turn. Oh, wow. Okay, opponent. The risk pays off. Top decks the land. We will consider. We gotta hit an untap land here. We have to. It's gotta go graveyard. It's tapped. We can't keep it. Well, I think this is a loss to our mana base, unfortunately. Take the creativity, but now our opponent, I think it's to win, right? Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Oh, this mana base. Opponent goes to combat attacks. Yeah, but now they just get to do their thing, and we can't really stop it. Big score. Actually, okay, wait, we have Collective Brutality. I guess that's our hopes and dreams. Collective Brutality, 2 modes. Duress you, kill the Goblin. This has to resolve. Discard Shieldred's Edict. Take the creativity. Okay, I mean, this is not pretty, but we are not officially all the way dead yet. Opponent untaps. Flips the Saga. Oh, we are fighting and clawing. I mean, again, there's 2 creativities down, which is good. Oh, that's so many Fable of the Mirror Breakers. Magmatic Channeler. Kazul's Fury past the turn. Opponent gets to go looting, keeps their hand. Oh God. I guess that means maybe they already found the creativity and it's just game. Opponent goes to combat. Opponent, no attacks. Well, it's not game yet. We untap. Collective Brutality. They didn't discard to the Fable. Oh, what a weird situation. How do we do this? 2 modes. Duress you and removal. Kill the Reflection. Discard, sadly, Crackling Drake. Okay, opponent makes a copy, that's fine. Oh, okay, that's a lot worse. Okay, so they're gonna counter. We can't really stop it. I mean, I guess that means we just pass. Yeah, we'll just pass. Don't feel great about where we're at, though. Flips another. Fable is such a ridiculously strong card. Flips another Fable the Mirror Breaker. No attacks. I mean, make you sack. Oh, we can't just let them go infinite with the reflections here. They can fire up the Mutavault. Gonna copy reflection. Sacrifice a reflection. Let's opt. Keep the curve. Oh, this isn't good, though. Demonic Bargain. Oh, boy. Opponent has drawn a lot of counter spells. Okay, pass the turn. Whew, opponent's ability to draw multiple counters in a row is an issue. Opponent untaps. Opponent steam vents. Counter creativity? That's brutal. Opponent passes. Copies reflections of Kiki Jiki. We draw a pretty useless land. I guess we just Serpentine Curve. Make a 10-10. Oh, we even managed to kill one of the reflections, but our opponent still managed to keep the combo going. Yeah, play the steam vents, tap as the turn. I mean, I guess this has been a very interesting match. So they can do their infinite Kiki Jiki thing. It doesn't just straight up kill us, but it's pretty bad. And eventually our opponent's gonna draw something. I mean, two Kikis with a ton of Kikis. I mean, we're not straight up dead on board. The problem is our opponent can keep doing this and we are not really able to stop them. Copies the Goblin token and copies the Goblin token. All right, so opponent's gonna try to make a ton of mana and then combo off again. Yeah, this is just purely reflections of Kiki Jiki being a busted card. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks. Makes 4 treasures. We did so much work to stop Indomitable Creativity, but we have not been able to stop 2 reflections of Kiki Jiki from flipping. Well, we block, and we drop to 10, and I think this puts us dead next turn for sure. And our opponent has infinite mana now. Well, the tokens go away for now. Even if we draw Shieldred's Edict, it doesn't work, right? Because they can use Mutavault. So I think our opponent just gets to make a lethal board, and we can't stop it. Yeah, opponent keeps being able to do this on their end step. Oh, brutal. Opponent gonna make some more copies of things. I mean, they have used all their mana for now, except for the million treasures that they still have access to. So how can we possibly stop this? Is it even possible? We untap, we draw. Demonic Bargain. Well, I mean, we will Demonic Bargain. Unsure if there's anything in our deck that we can stop this with, though. Is that our best? I think that's our best bet. Okay, that's our shot. Here we come. This is our one shot. We'll see what our opponent's last card is. Swing with both. The game comes down to this. Can we jank them out with the Fractal? I mean, they could have a counter. If they got a counter, then they got it. They could have removal, I guess. Although our opponent doing nothing last turn is encouraging. Opponent copies reflection. What is that last card? Did we steal the win? Did we steal the win in the most ridiculous game? Hold, opponent blocks. I don't think this matters though, right? Still gets in for 18. If our opponent doesn't have something in hand to interact with it, that's the only question. Well, I mean, this is what we got. This is it. This is all. Teamer Battle Rage on the Fractal. Do you have an answer, opponent? Oh no, they actually do. They drew 3 counters. Okay, sir. Oh, this is desperation. They're trying to cycle into a counter. Hold, no counter. Come on. Oh, the jank 'em out combo in. That's Exaxes, right? That's Exaxes? Whoa! Wow, we got there. Oh my God, what a win. The best removal is player removal. And we managed to remove our opponent just in time to get around this infinite Kiki Jiki loop. And despite some of the criticisms of like the clunky mana or whatever, it's working. That is Serpentine Curve Teamer Battle Rage. One shot out of nowhere, steal the win against the deck that won the last Pro Tour. Yeah. Demonic Drake Fling. Sweet. much brew about nothing time. We are trying to fling some demonic drakes at opponents, and do we keep this? 2 removal spells, 2 thought seizes, no black mana. We do have it. You know what? I think we keep it. We got to consider to find a black source, and with a black source, this hand doesn't seem bad. We have a lot of interaction. We have interaction that's good if our opponent's creature based or if they're control. The only question is, do we find the black source? Spikefield Cave A. Well, Steam Vents untapped. Pass the turn. Looks like Indomitable Creativity again. Well, let's consider. Thoughtseize to the graveyard. All right, there's black mana. Well, Dragon Skull Summit. Thoughtseize you. Well, definitely Indomitable Creativity. We want them to have the World Spine Worm. I guess we just take Impulse for now. Hopefully our opponent doesn't hit Fable here. That's probably their best hit. They can't actually combo off until they get the worm back in their library. Impulses. These Sheltered Edicts, we'll see how much they do. Passing, well, let's consider. I think we keep Magmatic Channeler. Theoretically, we can Thoughtseize the Fire Prophecy. Yeah, let's play Sulphur Falls. Let's Thoughtseize you. They also have a big score. Well, I mean, I guess that's fine. Yeah, we'll just take the big score. Magmatic Channeler is big enough that it doesn't die. Our opponent can cycle their Fire Prophecy to get rid of the worm, but it's not gonna kill the Channeler. All right, that's not bad, not bad. Thoughtseize is paying off. Not casting the Fire Prophecy yet. Oh, did they top deck another removal spell? Oh, all right. Yeah. So opponent did top deck a second removal spell. We will Watery Grave tapped. So opponent's down to 1 card temporarily, although our hand is not doing anything at the moment. Steam Vents tapped. Ugh, the flood is on. Oh, that Fire Prophecy was a huge draw for our opponent. Opponent untaps and passes. Action. Well, Magmatic Channeler's action enough. Play the Drowned Catacombs. Run out Magmatic Channeler. Pass the turn. In theory, 4 toughness should be hard for our opponent to kill, but we'll see. We would really love to start activating this. Fable of the Mia Breaker. Well, we're gonna have so many lands if we ever find our combo pieces. Well, get rid of the token, untap. Is our game plan to attack or a game plan to try to find our combo pieces? We gotta assume our opponent's hand's gonna get better. Let's discard Temur Battle Rage. Demonic Bargain. Play Demonic Bargain. Crackling Drake. Play Crackling Drake. And see what answers our opponent might have. Crackling Drake. Draw a card. It's looking pretty lethal. That is a 16 power Crackling Drake. Opponent does get to do some looting. They don't have the pieces to win this turn though. They don't have anything to Indomitable Creativity. So opponent needs to find removal basically. They gotta deal with the Drake. Wow, discards the Xenagos. Okay. Do you have answers? The answer is no, and opponents go, wow, is this deck actually good? It doesn't, it's so weird that it keeps working. I don't even know if we change anything again. I mean, I guess we just run it back, do the same thing. Apparently we're the Indomitable Creativity snipers here. Also, whole league without any mono green devotion, which that is a win in and of itself. Sideboard and mana base so ridiculous, but hey, who am I to judge? We're winning. We're draking, we're winning, we're demonic bargaining. Opponent's on the play for game number 2. Can we close it out with the 4-1? We're gonna keep this. The Temur Battle Rage isn't very exciting here, but the ops are nice, and Stubborn Denial is also pretty good. Watery Grave. This hand wants us to get a Magmatic Channeler on the battlefield at some point. A Tuara for our opponent. Opt. Yeah, we'll keep a Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is pretty good. And even more ops. Dragon Skull Summit. Thoughtseize you. Opponent's going to Spell Pierce. Well, that's a counter out of the hand. Well, now we're actually kind of hoping our opponent plays Fable because we can just Stubborn Denial it. Opponent, Steam Vents. Untapped. Oh, but no Fable. All right. Well, let's opt. Try again with the Thoughtseize. Take 2. Oh, Demonic Bargain too. Play the land. Thoughtseize you. Can actually pay for the Spell Pierce this time. Mystical well, you know what? We're going to Stubborn Denial that. Opponent's trying to protect something. We will take the big score. There's some argument for just leaving it, but now that our opponent knows about Stubborn Denial, they could very well play around it. We can play around, make Disappear and Rending Volley. Passes. Well, let's keep opting. Yeah, we'll keep the land. We actually want to be able to cast this Demonic Bargain at some point. Steam Vents tapped. I mean, next turn we can Demonic Bargain and pay for the Make Disappear. Passes. Ooh, Collective Brutality. That might be even better. Do we just Brutality? Yeah, let's Demonic Bargain. Now let's take Serpentine Curve, I think. Yeah, let's take Curve. I mean, Curve is lethal with Temur Battle Rage. That Temur Battle Rage that wasn't looking great might end up looking a little bit better. All right, we will pass. We still do need to play around the Make Disappear. So it might take us 2 turns. We might need to Collective Brutality first. Crackling Drake. Well, Collective Brutality. Duress you. Take the Make Disappear. All right, opponent's down to kind of nothing. So in theory, next turn we Serpentine Curve, leave up Stubborn Denial, and then... Oh, they're gonna make 1/1s? Sure. I mean, in theory, next turn we do it. I mean, they could top deck Creativity, I guess. That would be awkward. Although Stubborn Denial probably saves us. Impulse to go digging. I mean, I guess our opponent could also Impulse into some sort of... interaction, takes a land. Oh, we know their hand again. Okay, opponent's hand is 2 Rending Volleys. I think we're good. I think Serpentine Curve's gonna do it. Watery Grave. Serpentine Curve, make a 14/14, and your go, opponent. And I don't know if our opponent can stop this. We have Stubborn Denial. We know their hand, it does nothing. So I think we just win. Like, I think we just Temur Battle Rage, win. Is it even? I don't even think it's worth it. I think we just win without it. Would you like to block? They're going to try. Unfortunately for our opponent, we have Temur Battle Rage. Little damage, and a bonus comes it up. And that's a 4/1. That's a 4/1. With Fling and Demonic Drakes, the deck actually worked. We got 5 treasure chests to open. I don't know how. We'll talk about it in the wrap up. I gotta say that was better than I expected. Well, let's open up some treasure chests. Treasure chest number 1 of 5. Let's get some goodies after that performance. Nihilistic. What is this card? 4-mana enchantment. Pay 3. Discard a card. Target opponent loses a life. You gain a life. Hellbent. Pay 1. Pay 2. Pay 1 and 2 life. Draw a card. Oh. So it's kind of like a really weird greed. All right. 45 play points is good, though. It's like $4.50 of play points. Number 2. Ooh. Fancy Entomb. Is Entomb worth anything? That's a good question. I feel, haven't we gotten multiple unique versions of Entomb? Entomb is worth. The Odyssey one is valuable. The promo, Dominary Master Borderless, it's like $1. Molten Sentry and some play points. That's a good looking Entomb though. 3 to go. Ooh, Chancellor of the Dross. Mono Blackbird All-Star. I wonder if this has went up in price because of Mono Blackbird. Whoa. Chancellor of the Dross. Worthless. 20 cents. Actually, yes, because of the Mono Blackbird deck. All right, two to go. Xenagos is a cool planeswalker. Back from the Brink. Ooh, I tried to make that work in Innistrad Limited. It was not easy. Well, last chance. Force Negation, Beseiju, something valuable, or Hexgold Hoverwings Avatar, Tunnel Ingus. This card was supposed to hate on Primeval Titan. It did not actually work. Well, we got a lot of play points. That's a win. So what do we learn about this deck? And I don't know what to say. We went 4-1. The deck actually kind of worked. We did get some fling kills. We also just got some beatdown kills. The actual core of the deck is oddly effective. Like this section here that we're looking at right now, I don't know if I'd honestly change a card. Like it worked really well. We got good disruption. We can protect our combo. Crackling Drake was good. Demonic Bargain's absurd. The synergies of Demonic Bargain, exiling stuff to grow our threats is really cool. Like the whole main deck is really, really sweet and way better at winning games than I would have expected. So this part of the deck's great. Again, we went 4-1, so I don't want to be too harsh on the deck because obviously it's working in its current condition. The 2 things I didn't like about this deck, number 1, the mana base. You see this one island in here? I actually added that. The original mana base had another ground catacomb, so there were no basic lands, which is a little bit greedy. Someone besieges you or something. The mana base, I don't think the mana base is optimal. In a world of fast lands and even like pathways, and there's so many dual lands options now, I don't think the shock land with buddy land mana base is really optimal anymore. So I would probably play the shock lands and play some of the buddy lands maybe still, but start mixing in some fast lands and some of that. We saw our mana base really cost us life at some points. And we also saw our mana base. And again, our deck overcame all of these problems and we won most of our matches. But we also saw like some hands that were like 3 buddy lands and we're just having to play everything tapped all the time. This is a mana base that I think was really decent like 7 years ago or something. I just think we have more options now. So I would probably diversify the dual lands a little bit. If you're thinking going and buying this deck, I would not buy this exact mana base. I would probably play the shock lands, maybe not 4 of them, get rid of most of the buddy lands and replace them with mostly fast lands. I think would be really good in this deck, and maybe some of the Innistrad lands. The other part of the deck, and again, we went 4-1, so none of this is a deal breaker. The sideboard is weird. And this didn't matter. Our deck was so strong and the combo was good enough that we played several matchups where we literally did not sideboard a single card. And we were still able to win those matches, which is so strange. But the sideboard, if you look at these cards, the cards are all good against the same thing. Like if we play against a creature deck, we literally have 15 cards that we can bring in. It's not really practical to bring in 15 whole cards, even in the matchups where they're good. But we have like removal, also removal, also removal, also removal. I think we need a little bit more diversity is probably ideal. I don't think we need 15 cards to bring in against creature decks, and 0 cards for combo, 0 cards for control. I guess you can argue like Dreadbore, you can also bring in against planeswalkers, but still, I would like to see a little more diversity here. Basically the same thing as the mana base. The mana base, it worked and we won with it, but it could probably be improved. I think the sideboard's the same thing. Keep a bunch of the removal spells, like keep, a couple power word kills and a couple Dreadbores and maybe even a couple Blue Suns Twilights, like keep, 6 of those cards, maybe even 7 of those cards, but then dump this and play some graveyard hate. We ran into some decks that were built around the graveyard. There's Arclight Phoenix is a thing in the format. Those are the graveyard decks. So maybe you play some Soul Guide Lanterns or some Ley Lines, and then you probably want something that's good against control, which could be Duress is a good option against control decks, bringing in more discard. Could also just see bringing in more counters. Like Stubborn Denial was a sneaky all-star in this deck, and if we run into a control deck, maybe we want to trim like, I don't know, a Shieldred's Edict or something. Being able to bring in another Stubborn Denial seems good, and then I don't know, throwing a couple negates, maybe the rest of the Soul Guide Lanterns, but just a little more diversity so we have something for all the matchups rather than everything for creature matchups and then nothing for control, nothing for combo. But all in all, Fling and Demonic Drakes, it actually worked, and the deck is sweet, and the deck is fun, and really outside of the mana base, I don't think this deck is really that expensive. I gotta look this up. Like I don't think it's a budget deck, but what is the actual cost? I didn't even really look, but it doesn't look that expensive. Well, I guess it's still $300, but really that's the $343, but 200 some of those dollars is essentially the shock lands, and then another 60 of those dollars is Thoughtseize. So many cheap cards in the deck. You could probably make some sort of budget version of it if you really wanted to. We're already talking about the mana base. If you have like fast lands from standard, if you want to go budget, if you got pain lands from standard, you can really drop the cost of this deck a lot. So anyway, that's Fling and Demonic Drakes and Pioneer. That's been our budget brew for this week. The deck's way better than I would have expected. Just update the mana, update the sideboard a little bit. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.